Hey yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy AceoxReacts, and I'm back. I'm back with another reaction. This time I'm going to react to I Wish Games Weren't So Long by Pretzel. Hell yeah. Once again, we're reacting to another video by Pretzel, and this time it's going to be about long games in general. So I'm interested to hear what he has to say about that. I have a lot to say about games that are way too long. I think it's not good. It's not good. Back in the day, of course, you also had long games. Basically, you know, the Final Fantasies, Harvest Moons, Animal Crossing, SimCity, Sims. There have been some very long games in the past, but I feel like they were few and far between. But nowadays it feels like every second game is at least 40 hours long, and most of the time they're not even games that could be justified to be that long. They have nothing going for them, nothing that justifies why they are so damn long. And for some reason devs focus on making these extremely long games, like for example just the modern Assassin's Creed games. It's just insanity, absolute insanity, or Far Cry. Or any Ubisoft game in general. And also every EA game, and I really don't like it. Because the thing we see a lot, especially in Ubisoft games, is the fact that they pad it out a lot. A lot. With pointless collectibles, way too many, and also way too many repeating missions and quests or whatever. It's not fun. It's like garbage you play while you're waiting for something to happen. Or in the middle of the night when your brain is already very tired and you just wanna turn off your brain and do some random ass shit. And I feel like it's really ruining a lot of games for me, because first of all, as an adult, I don't have that much free time, and games that don't respect my time are just the worst. And if it's just a long game that just happens to be long because the story is just long, or at least very interesting with unique side missions and whatever, like for example in the case of the Yakuza games, then that's fine. But if it's a game that could be stripped down to 3 hours, but instead they padded it out to make it over 200 plus hours, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it's just, no, don't waste my fucking time. I know games are getting expensive and all that, but no one wants that shit. If you could fill for, I don't know, 200 plus hours of actual interesting, unique content, then it would be a completely different thing. But no, they do this shit where they design a very specific type of mission and then plaster it around the map for you to do for like, I don't know, 40 times. And then they have these collectibles, and they have different kinds of collectibles, and it's not just 1 or 2, it's usually around 100 or so. And you have like 5 different types of collectibles, maybe 7 repeating side missions, and then some random ass shit thrown in there. And it's not fun, especially if you're forced to do a lot of these things in order to continue with the main story of the game. Like in the case, once again, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's not fun. It's not fun. And I really don't understand why, especially Ubisoft, is so fixated on creating huge maps, huge empty pointless maps, and these way too long padded out games with repetitive side missions, with repetitive collectibles, also the skill points and everything. Back in the day, in the good old times, skill points were kind of optional. They sometimes, when it's done well, like for example in the case of Prototype and Prototype 2, it actually made you a lot more OP and it made the game a lot more fun. And in some bad cases, it was just getting a skill or something that's not really useful, but who cares, it's optional, right? But nowadays they strip away so much of the base gameplay just to put them behind stupid skill point things. So you have these endless skill point amounts in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You know, if you have all of them, your character feels like the way it was intended to be, and without them it feels like you're playing a fucking loser who can't do shit. It's not fun, man. It's pointless. It's a waste of time. It doesn't have to be complex or anything. If you know, skill points used to be so simple. They gave you an additional feature or thing or gameplay thing you could do. That's it. Nowadays it's like, alright, you can run for like 5 seconds and then you need to wait until your stamina is recharged. And if you wanna get some more running time, then you gotta waste your fucking time to grind skill points and then spend them on increasing your stupid ass stamina. It's like, no goddamn human is only able to run for 5 seconds. So it really feels like like the skill points are just pointless. You know, the skills you're getting from them are just a thing that then makes your character normal, the way it should have been from the get-go. But alright, yeah. And there's just so much shit like that. In the case of The Last of Us Part 2, I think they did it different. They made it like a 40-hour or so game, and the story actually drags on that much. There's no side content really. There's a little bit, but not much. The main bulk of the game is the story itself, and that's fine if the story was at least interesting and well done. But no, in the case of The Last of Us Part 2, it just, no. You could have easily dumbed it down to 6 hours or so, and that would have been alright. But no, they had to stretch it and everything. It's just, no, it's so fucking annoying. It's so tiring. Seeing all these games that could be fun, shorter experiences, but have been butchered so they can stretch the dick of the games to a length that's completely pointless and unrealistic and just ruin their own games with it. It's just, no. If you don't design stuff that actually keeps your interest while you're playing for that long, the same stupid ass game, then don't make your game that long. If you cannot do that, don't do it. It's that simple. And no matter how long the game is, it's not going to justify paying $80 for it. No thanks. I'm not paying that much. Doesn't matter if it's 200 hours or, I don't know, a lifetime game. I don't give a shit. That's way too much for a stupid ass video game. And there's nothing you can do to justify that price point to me. To me at least. You know, there are people that are very willing to give that much money. But yeah, not me. Just give me a reasonable price and a short but sweet experience. Does not have to be a game you can play endlessly. Especially if the game is not supposed to be like that in the first place. Because you can tell some games, like for example Animal Crossing, are perfect fit for being able to endlessly play it. Even Super Smash Brothers or Tekken or Street Fighter and all that stuff. The Sims, like for example, also. But games like Assassin's Creed, no, they're just not designed in that way. So it does not fit. It does not fit. And forcing it to fit just makes it frustrating, boring, and shit. Makes it aggravating. Makes my penis soft like a pillow. So yeah, that's my opinion on games that are way too long nowadays. The stupid ass trend that's happening. And also, I really dislike huge open worlds. Cause you know, you have to traverse the entire map and it's gonna take ages. Cause your character runs so slow that even a snail would blush. Even a snail would be like, damn, look at him go, he's so slow. Yeah, it's just not fun. It's just not fun. So yeah, that's why I don't play most newer games, because they all follow these stupid trends, and now it's with these annoying ass loot boxes and time savers and pointless shit that doesn't need to be in the game in the first place. Especially not if you have to buy it with actual money. No, thank you. No. Best example, once again, Assassin's Creed. They now design their games in such a way that you really feel like, maybe I should buy the time savers. Don't do it, by the way. They dumb it down and make it purposely so frustrating and long that it almost pushes you to buying their stupid ass solutions for the problems they made purposely themselves. It's annoying. It's so annoying. I hate it. Also, I hate all the remakes and stuff like that. It's becoming way too insane. It's like, stop remaking the same old game over and over again. Doing it once is alright, especially if it's a very old game. But look at Naughty Dog. What the fuck are they doing? First you had The Last of Us on PS3, then you had The Last of Us Remastered on the PS4, then you got The Last of Us Part 2 on the PS4, and The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered on the PS5, then you got The Last of Us Part 1 and The Last of Us Part 1 Remastered again? Like, what? Stop remaking the same fucking game. If you want to re-release the same shit over and over again, just do it like Bethesda, you know, with Skyrim. Barely make any changes to it and just port it to the newest console. Don't fucking waste your time and money on wasting our time and money with the same fucking game that's just slightly a little bit better looking, you know? It's no. Stop that shit. It's annoying. Give me new shit. Like, damn, what is your problem? So yeah, as you can tell, this topic, I have some strong opinions on these things, and I think I've made it clear enough. So let's stop all the yapping and finally get into the video. But before we start, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Pretzel. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him games back then lived up to the name video games. Today, they should be called video chores. Onto modern gaming. On that thing. Tell him that. And obviously subscribe to him, he makes some really good content. I really enjoy his videos, and if you enjoy it as well, definitely subscribe to him, he deserves it. Alright? Show the man some love. Hell yeah. Alright, I scrolled up, I zoomed out, so without further ado, here we go! There we go.
Does it feel like games are asking more out of you these days?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about money. You can always get more of that. I'm talking about the one thing we all have a finite amount of. Time.
Exactly.
Games are getting so long. So many RPGs take like 60 hours to complete just the main story without even touching any of the side quests. And they're great games, don't get me wrong.
Not all of them.
So long.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why are developers and consumers so obsessed with games being long?
I don't know.
Because games used to be short. If you knew what you were doing in an arcade, you could breeze through a game. Arcades made money when you died in a game and you had to pay up to keep playing.
Yeah.
So if you just didn't die, then you could make it through no problem and on the cheap.
Yeah.
Around the NES is when home gaming became a thing. You paid upfront for a cartridge and could play it as many times as you liked. Games were still difficult, so you were able to get your money's worth out of the purchase. But the fourth generation is where things get interesting. You start to see these games become mega popular not because of their mechanical challenge, but the quality of the writing. Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana. People were getting into these games for the dialogue, the world building, and the plot. The gameplay was enjoyable, of course, but the writing is what people remember. This is when game lengths really started to balloon. These 20 to 30 hour RPGs start to pop up and become not just something to blow through in a weekend, but a full-blown epic. Complete with ups and downs, twists and turns. It's like a movie you can play.
Yeah!
I think this happened because developers really started to hit their stride in this generation. The NES feels like a prelude to the SNES in a way. So many iconic games on the Super Nintendo had previous entries on the NES, but the developers iterated in such smart ways for those sequels. They spent the entire third generation learning what made games good, only to be able to act on that and make some true masterpieces in the fourth. Consumers were drawn to these larger games. I found an advertisement from Toys R Us in the mid-90s with some game prices listed.
Damn.
I gotta say, it is kinda shocking to see the price of these and note that games basically cost the same. Technically, they're even cheaper with inflation.
Yeah.
That's not even taking into account how massive the budgets are for games these days. Like, look at that. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 cost the same price as Mortal Kombat 1 did at release last year. Getting off topic there. Regardless, MK3, $70. Street Fighter Alpha 2, $70.
It was always way too expensive.
Imagine Final Fantasy VI, or I guess 3 here in the West, wouldn't be that much more expensive at the time. Like, I seriously doubt it was $100 or whatever. Maybe this is just my bias.
I just remember during the PS3 in the beginning when it was released, games here in Germany cost exactly 100 euros in the beginning of the PS3 era. That was insane. Insane. On the topic of how much I think games are worth, I think back in the day they overcharged, and I feel like nowadays they still overcharge, but it's more justified, more so justified than what it was back in the day. Simply because just how many people work on it and how long they work on it and just how much more details are required to make a modern game. But that's again, the details of a game don't make a good game. If the game isn't good, spending extra time and money on small details that don't matter isn't going to make it any better. It's not gonna save the game. And I feel like developers nowadays completely forget about the aspect that older games understood, which is to give you not only an interesting time and an interesting distraction, but also an interesting game to play. Go places, find new stuff, fight, enjoy yourself. and also have a story that means something and has twists and turns and surprises you and captivates you. They seem to forget about those parts nowadays. It's more like they're focused on making a visually appealing looking game, and that's it. And they stretch it out to insane lengths. And I feel like, sure, all of that justifies the price, but what you're actually getting from it really, once again, does not justify the price. So in a way, it's like they're not doing their job. They're doing some job, but not the job we want to pay them for. And I feel like that's a huge thing going on in the gaming scene right now. People making games no one wants to play. Like Concord. What was that? What the fuck was that? It's like the game makers forgot what a good game is, which is weird because there are still good games. Like for example, Baldur's Gate 3. That's still a good game. Stardew Valley. A really good game. I got a message. Wasn't you. Wasn't you. Chillax! Alright? It wasn't your PC. I got a message. You don't. You don't get messages. Call your parents more often. Tell them you love them. Unless they're assholes, then don't. But yeah, I feel like game makers nowadays don't even understand what games are supposed to be. Which is just so weird, because they once understood it. In the beginning, they did not understand it. When they switched from arcades to home consoles, they tried to use the same formula they used for arcade games, and it just did not work. They did not understand it back then. But then they started to understand it, and then we got a really good time for video games. You know, from the SNES, I'd say, to PlayStation 2, maybe even PlayStation 3, at least some of it. And then just everything went downhill again. They just, again, forgot what makes a good video game. It's so weird. They figured it out, yet they still, I don't get it. There's so much money involved and so much time and effort. Someone should sit down and realize, damn, hold on. We gotta figure this out. We gotta make this work. Otherwise, we're blowing money and time and manpower and effort into something that's just going to fail. And it's so weird. So many shit games come out nowadays that immediately die upon release and cost millions of dollars. And I end up sitting here asking myself, do they want to lose money? Is that their goal? Do they want to waste everyone's time? Do they want to create a flop? If so, why? Do you have so much money to spend that you can blow it on making shit games no one cares about that immediately dies upon release? Do you have that much money? If so, then obviously that's a problem, because you can't seem to figure out what a good game is nowadays, and so you just throw shit at the wall hoping that something sticks. But you're not trying to innovate. No, you're trying to make something profitable, but you're doing the exact opposite. You know, you're not making a profitable product because your product is shit. It's so contradictory. It really fucks with my brain. I really don't understand that. I mean, look at the indie scene. They understand it, so it seems like it is a money thing. Like, all the big companies that can spend a lot of money on games, spend it on shit. And the ones, the indie games, the indie studios that have barely any money, make banger-ass games. It's like, it's so weird. It frustrates me, man. It frustrates me. I just want good games, man. I wanna have games that take me out of reality, plop me into an interesting world with interesting characters, and give me a good time. Doesn't matter if it's just, 3 or 4 hours. If it's a good game, then I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it. Of course, I'm not gonna pay $80 for a 2-hour long game or so. That's just insane. But then again, I'm also not going to pay $80 for a 200-hour long game. No, that's just too much money that's being asked of me. No, I could spend $5 on a movie and I'd have around 2 hours, give or take, of an interesting time. Or I spend, I don't know, 10 or $20, I don't know what the current prices are for Amazon Prime Video or Netflix, and just watch however many things I want to watch. Same with music. If I really want to buy an album, it'll cost me 10 to $20 max. Even though if it's, let's say, an hour-long album, I still have a lot of songs that have some replay value that I can listen to over and over again. And games used to hit the nail on the head when it came to that back in the day. Having replay value and overall a really good, solid game. And games nowadays have neither. They don't have a solid, good game, and they don't have any replay value. Because who wants to replay a fucking 200-hour long video game? By the way, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it takes at least that long to complete everything. And let me remind you, you gotta do a lot of it just to continue with the main story. industry. You cannot continue if you're not at a certain level, if you haven't done certain things, and it's insane how much the game asks you to do before you can get back to the main game. It's fucked up. No, and that's the thing. I hope game creators start to understand that, first of all, $80 cannot be justified at all, because the price value thing is just not there. Does not matter how much time you could theoretically spend on playing the game. Doesn't matter. $80 is a lot of money. I can buy so many more useful things for my life that I'll use for a long time, while a video game just is not worth that much. It's not worth that much. The movie industry understands that. The music industry understands that. Hell, even the ones that make programs understand that. Or, for example, audio plugins, they understand that. Every goddamn industry understands that your product needs to have a lot of value to justify a high price, but also understand that there is a specific point where it does not matter how useful it is just too much money, costs too much. And that point exists in everything. It's like you could have the most interesting book ever that'll make you happy like nothing else does. Still, if you say $500 for that, no, fuck you. No, I'm not paying that much. That's way too much. And the indie gaming industry understands that, but the AAA gaming industry does not understand it anymore. They understood it once, but not anymore. It's fucking pisses me off, man. It's so simple, yet they don't understand. Or rather, they refuse to understand, it seems like. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic, so let's just continue with the video. Otherwise, I'm gonna be here for another 3 hours ranting about the video game industry. And that's not gonna be fun, because I'll start to reiterate all the points I've already made. Because that's the AceoX way. Hell yeah, small dick, big brain. And huge balls. Don't forget about that part. That's the most important part. Cause pee is stored in your balls. So the bigger your balls, the bigger your pee-pee. Or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. God damn it.
Yes, against fighting games, but FF6 seems like such a better deal. I'm sure both of those other games are great. Just get them on sale. You could get at least 30 hours out of Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, because I guess the thing is the difference. A fighting game has great replay value, but it's still different compared to, for example, Final Fantasy, which, I mean, it has some replay value, but I wouldn't say it has nearly as much replay value as fighting games. But it has a gripping story, interesting world building, character developing and twists, and a good fight system. It's a good A to B type experience, while fighting games are more like repeating A, but it's still good, you know, fighting over and over again, using different characters or even the same. It's fun. It has a lot of replay value, while Final Fantasy has a long, interesting story and stuff like that. And depending on what you want to get out of a game, you could justify the same price for both games, for example. But yeah, those are definitely two different things where the value for the game could theoretically come from. Yeah, just wanted to mention that.
And if you're just a dumb kid who doesn't know what they're doing,
I am!
you'll probably put 100 hours in just wandering around doing.
Yeah, I did that a lot.
One game for Christmas, you're gonna want to ask for the game you can get the most playtime out of.
Also, once you got it, since as a kid you had limited resources, you couldn't just get any game you wanted whenever you wanted. So since it was so rare that you got a new game, you really made the most out of it, even if it was a shit game. I remember times where I played a shit game to death just because I wanted to get my money's worth and use the rare opportunity that I got a new game, and you know, I couldn't get a new game, so I made the most of it. I made it worthwhile, even if it was shit. And that's something, it does not exist anymore, because there's just such a huge market, so many games being released on a daily basis, from indie games to AAA video games to all kinds of things on all kinds of platforms and of all kinds of types, from casual to hardcore, and you can access most of them with subscription models, like for example PlayStation Plus Premium, for example, I got that, or the Xbox Game Pass and things like that. So you have an endless amount of games. I mean, realistically you probably wouldn't be able to play all the games that are available in the catalog this month before they're removed eventually and replaced by others. So yeah, it's a seemingly endless amount of games you can play for no extra cost. And so the thing just does not exist anymore. The thing of having the scarcity thing, that you actively make the most out of something scarce, something rare you got. Because games aren't that rare for you anymore. Especially if you're an adult and you're working, you're making money, you can buy whatever the fuck you want, whenever the fuck you want. So that's the scarcity thing gone. And also through the subscription models, you can play a game, realize it's shit, and move on to something else to no extra cost to you. So there's also this type of scarcity value thing gone. And game companies, for some reason, think that this thing is still there, which it isn't. The thing that we humans tend to make the most out of something when we cannot get our hands on something similar or better or worse without extra cost or at all in some cases. Gamers don't make the most out of a game anymore nowadays because there's just too many. Too many, no real risks anymore. Getting a bad game isn't that bad anymore because you got a lot of other games you can play instead. And the gaming industry needs to realize that this part of the value of a game does not exist anymore these days. It existed back in the day, but it does not exist today. It does not. So they gotta work around it, find different ways to give the games their value, to make them worth even a fraction of the price they are asking for nowadays. But they're unwilling to adapt and change with the times. It's so frustrating, man, because it's actually that simple.
And hey, if you have a sibling, I'm sure you can get your playtime out of Mortal Kombat or Street
I don't have a sibling.
But I feel like FF6
I have half
is a better
siblings,
case
but
for
I
its value. I
never
think so,
really
at least.
spend time with them because
People
I don't have contact with them.
mindset. So many games will get negative reviews just because they're too short. Though maybe
That's
more so
definitely a
from
weird
couple
thing.
generations ago. I remember seeing people complain about shooters having like 7-hour campaigns and attacked on multiplayer that nobody
Yeah, I
cared.
remember that as well. I never
Bulletstorm
understood
was a game
that.
I liked back in the day, but it was short. You
Yeah.
could maybe get 8 to 9 hours if you just wanted to play through the story once.
And that's a lot, honestly. That's a
Imagine
lot.
you're given $60 for your birthday, and you can buy only one game at GameStop with that money. You see Bulletstorm on the shelf,
Yeah.
and right beside it, you see Skyrim. If you were
Yeah, obviously,
you only get
in that case, Skyrim would be worth a lot more for the same price. You'd get a lot of more value out of it. You know, that's the thing. With scarcity, people would, for example, tend to gravitate to, for example, a game that may be less interesting to you, but has a lot more playtime you can invest into it, you know? But that's not really a thing anymore. Now I feel like it's the exact opposite in my case, at least. You know, being an adult, having responsibilities and everything, and not that much free time as before. I'd rather spend the same amount of money I spent on a long ass game and spend it on a shorter game instead. One that has good reviews but is short. I don't care. I don't care if it's short. In fact, I gravitate towards more a shorter game at this point. While back in the day was the exact opposite because I had so little to choose from basically. I only got one new game a year, and so I had to pick one that made sure that I at least got a lot of playtime out of it. So yeah, I can definitely see this thing, but still, I think shorter games, depending on the game of course, can easily have the same value than longer games. But yeah, I guess that's a thing that I guess people gravitate towards specific things. Like for example, if I had to choose between Bulletstorm or Skyrim, I would actually choose Bulletstorm because I like Skyrim, don't get me wrong, I really like it. But you know, the RPG fantasy stuff is not really my thing. I like more shooters, I like racing games, I like story-driven games, and I feel like Skyrim is a good game, but it's not to my taste. I'd probably get more enjoyment out of Bulletstorm than out of Skyrim if I had to choose, and so I would pick Bulletstorm because to me it has more value. But I know not everyone is agreeing with that. Everyone thinks differently, everyone feels differently about that sort of stuff. So I feel like value is not that rigid. It's more like a fluid thing, you know? A fluid concept. Does that make sense? I don't know if that made any sense. I hope so because I spend a lot of time talking about this, so yeah. I hope you understand. If not, fuck you. I tried. Alright, but I gotta cut this video short and resume it in a second. See you in a second. Alright, I'm back. And before we continue, one last thing I'd like to mention. That's something I've been learning in the last year or so. I've been making reactions. Is the fact that I'm starting to understand more and more what makes for an interesting reaction and a coherent, fluid reaction type thing. And so I decided to edit out a lot of repeating points, for example, in my reaction videos videos where I'm just repeating the same point over and over again, because I have a tendency for that, unfortunately. I like to yap, and I realized that leaving those parts in just does not make for a compelling, interesting yapping session. You know, there's a good way to yap and a bad way to yap. A good way is to talk about something, and a bad way is to talk about something and then talk about it again and again and again. And so I started cutting out those parts, make it more coherent, make it shorter but sweeter at the same time, and just make it overall more enjoyable, I guess you could say. And I wish AAA games would understand that. Just cut out the filler stuff and it's already going to be a lot more fun. Yeah. Just like jerking off. No, seriously, imagine it. You jerk off, you watch a porn, and they suddenly stop fucking and they start talking about random ass stuff, and you're like, God damn it, let me continue. But you gotta sit through a stupid ass monologue, and then they start fucking again, and you're like, yeah, hell yeah. And then they fucking, I don't know, the scene changes, and suddenly there's an action scene and everything, and it's like, dude, that's not what I came here for. Get it, came. That's not why I'm watching this shit. Get to the fucking point. Cut out the bullshit that does not matter. That just wastes my fucking time, man. I wanna finish. Get it? Finish? Get it? Oh, yeah, there's a porn analogy for you. There you go. I'm happy to provide this useful service. You're welcome.
Get money like that twice a year. You're gonna try to spend it efficiently.
Yeah.
Skyrim is a no-brainer. I feel like publishers picked up on that fact. People preferred games that they could sink a ton of hours into, rather than something they could finish in a weekend.
Yeah, but they don't understand that length does not mean good.
Turn-based RPGs used to really be the only games that would keep you hooked for like 30 hours.
Yeah.
Now there's all these action-adventure games.
Not the only.
Assassin's Creed, Red Dead Redemption 2, Elden Ring. Games that you could easily sink 100 hours plus into. You could play one of those games for like a week without having to engage with the main plot at all. There's so much side content to distract you with. Just the value you get out of these games compared to games a couple generations ago is insane.
I wouldn't say that.
I should point out, there is more to a game than its value.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a beefcake. I searched up the game on howlongtobeat.com and it lists out all the DLC separately. So let's do some math and see how long it takes the average person to 100% complete this game.
It's long.
147 hours for the main game. 22 hours for Dawn of Ragnarok, the big main DLC.
Jesus.
14 hours for the Siege of Paris. 18 hours for the Wrath of the Druids. And let's just say 6 hours for the rest, ignoring the Discovery Tour, which is a historical, informational side thing. Throw all those together and you got 207 hours.
There you go.
207 hours to fully complete
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
And now imagine how much time of those 207 hours are you having fun and how much time are you not having fun. I played it. I almost completed it. I just couldn't. For me, it was maybe around, let's be generous, 205 hours shit experience and 2 hours in which I had fun. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm being generous, by the way. And I mean it. 2 hours out of the 207 hour long playthrough were spent having fun. Only 2 hours. So now in retrospect, was it worth the money? Was it worth getting the game? Was it worth putting so many hours into it? No. Instead, I should have just quit while it was fun, and I could have easily finished 10 or more games in that time it took me to complete Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which like I said, I did not even complete entirely. I just gave up like almost, let's say, maybe 90% completion because it drags way too much. It was not good. It was not fun. It was not enjoyable. It was nothing. It was a waste of fucking time and frustrating at that. It was really frustrating. So once again, now there's this thing. If I buy Doom, the original Doom, for, let's say, for some reason it costs 20 bucks. And let's say Assassin's Creed Valhalla also costs 20 bucks, which it does not. Let's just take this hypothetical scenario. My first impression would have been, alright, Assassin's Creed would be worth the money, more so than Doom. Because Doom is short and old, and Assassin's Creed is new and huge. huge. But after finishing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it would be the exact opposite, because now I have this context, the missing context, and the facts speak for themselves that not even 90% of the time I spent not having fun, more like 99% of the time I spent not having fun. I only spent 1% of the time to have fun with the game. While Doom, on the other hand, you know, if I would go back and buy it for 20 bucks and play it and finish it in, like, let's say, if you discover all the secrets and everything, let's say 3 hours. Very generous, but still. It has a lot of more replay value. Out of the 3 hours, I'd have, let's say, 2.5 hours fun and like 30 minutes of them maybe not that much fun, looking for hidden secrets or playing it on a difficulty I don't like. So which one did give me more value? I had like 2.5 hours fun with Doom and 2 hours fun with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Almost the same length of fun I had, but Doom I would replay often and it respects my time. I can get it done and not worry about it, while Assassin's Creed Valhalla wastes my time, has no replay value whatsoever, and is shit for the majority of the entire playthrough time. So which one would be worth the 20 bucks in this case? I'd say Doom in this hypothetical scenario, because I'm spending more time having fun in total than I would have with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You understand what I mean? If you just look at the numbers, the amount of time I have fun with Doom is almost the same as the amount of time I'm having fun with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But there isn't all this pointless, frustrating, boring piece of shit gameplay that's dragging on in Doom than that is found in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I am having the same amount of fun, but I'm not having the same amount of shit time with the game. And so automatically, for me at the very least, it's Doom in that case is the winner. It is a lot more valuable because at least I did not waste my time fucking hating the game and myself for even playing it for the majority of the playthrough time, right? So in that case, I would pay 20 bucks for Doom rather than 20 bucks for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because the facts, you know, the numbers themselves don't mean shit. Length does not mean it's gonna be a lot more fun. In my experience, it's the exact opposite. The longer a game is, the more it drags on and the more frustrating and bored I get. Even with 10-hour games. After just, let's say, 6 hours of playing a game, I just want it to end. I just want to move on. I want to finish it because I really don't like leaving stuff unfinished. And so I kind of force myself through the rest of the game at that point. And it's just not enjoyable for me. I just wanted to end and move on to something else that might be more interesting. So yeah, that's why I like shorter games better. Because I think even if it's a shit game, it's still a higher value than games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because at the very least, I did not waste a lot of time. While on the other hand, with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I not only wasted a lot of time having not fun, not enjoying myself, but also a lot of money and a lot of my sanity. So it's all in all, it's a loss, even though it costs the same in that hypothetical scenario and the amount I'm having fun is the same. I know it sounds confusing, but that's how it is. That's the truth. That's life!
Now don't get me wrong, I like me some Assassin's Creed. I 100%
I like the older
Creed
ones,
Origins
yeah.
early last year, and it took me 64 hours. It was fun.
Yeah, I finished completed as well.
I cannot imagine playing that game almost 3 times over to reach a 207-hour playtime. Past a certain point in
I think Origin was okay.
Settle in mechanically.
I like the older ones better.
Stuff, and you're expected to master what you have. Like, they're not going to throw some insane new combat mechanic at you in hour 38. You're mostly locked in by hour 6 or so. I haven't played it
I find that
so I don't know how it
quite boring
its
though.
Content for sure, but it can't be that much different than Origins. I'd say you probably have all the base systems unlocked by hour 10 or so. And even then, if they wanted to be crazy and reveal some major gameplay system at hour 30, you still have 170 hours ahead of you. 170 hours of gameplay left with no crazy twists or turns mechanically.
No, the thing actually is the skill trees in Assassin's Creed Valhalla are a nightmare. They're extremely huge and they do nothing. So yeah, you unlock new things, but you're not really using them because at the time you're unlocking new skills and everything, you're already locked into a specific type of playing the game, because it's not worth it learning something new, because it's not even fun. You know, the skills you get aren't interesting at all, and they don't change the gameplay enough to even justify going beyond trying them out. You know, trying them out is alright. Incorporating them into your gameplay style. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. The way Assassin's Creed Valhalla drips feed content is pretty simple. You unlock new skills and everything, but they don't really change the gameplay, to be honest. At that point, also, you're so locked into your gameplay style that it's probably the more time-saving way. And the longer the game drags on, the quicker you wanna just finish it. And the thing actually is, the content itself, you can pretty much do most of the side content pretty early on. If they at least, I don't know, every 10 hours or so of gameplay, you unlock a new side quest type, then it would be alright. It would be new, it would be somewhat interesting, but no, you can pretty much do all of them right from the get-go, and they never change. They never change. They're always the same. They're always the same shit with a little bit, you know, difference in the code of paint or whatever. It's basically a 5-hour game stretched to 200 plus hours long. I hate this game. I hate it. I genuinely do. I genuinely fucking hate it. I gave it a chance because I kind of liked Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that game wasn't too well received, if I remember correctly. And I saw that Valhalla was shat on relentlessly by the game community and everyone else. And I thought, okay, you know, I liked Odyssey. Maybe this one isn't too bad. And I regret ever giving this game any light of day. It's literally a waste of time. Not even a fun waste of time. It's just shit. It's a steaming pile of dog shit.
Can't imagine Valhalla has the gameplay variety to back up that 207 hour playtime. It does not.
It really does not.
If you're not bored at hour 70, you'll definitely be feeling at least a little bit tuned out by hour 170. I was kind of starting to feel the burnout with Origins towards the end of my 64-hour playthrough.
Yeah.
Valhalla seems like the work of a madman. Ubisoft was so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Exactly.
And that's not just a problem with average games. Even the best of the best can feel too long at points.
Yeah.
Persona, Baldur's Gate, The Witcher 3, these are all critically acclaimed games. And they're so chunky, my god.
Yeah.
Persona 5 Royal has a base game completion time of over 100 hours. Base game. Not even including any side quests and extra stuff. It's a quality game. The combat is fun, the characters are enjoyable, and the plot is engaging. But man, it just kinda gets samey after a while. Maybe I just have beef with Persona in particular, but I can't make it through one of these games to save my life.
I think there is still a difference, you know, between, for example, Assassin's Creed Valhalla and, let's say, I don't know, the Yakuza games. Or let's use Witcher 3 as an example, because that's a really good example. The main story is quite short. You can get through the main quests quite quickly, and it's very enjoyable. And if you're still interested in the side content at any point throughout the main story, you can either do it or you can just ignore it. While Assassin's Creed Valhalla forces you to do the shitty-ass repetitive side content in order to progress in the main story. And the main story drags on, is shit, uninteresting, and it's just spread out so insanely simply because you have to complete side mission bullshit that's not fun at all. So before you can even continue, you have to do other shit first. So you have to waste your time on that shit in order to see the main story play out. While, for example, Witcher 3 does the exact opposite. You don't have to do the side content, it's completely optional. I recommend it, it's a lot of fun, but if you don't feel like it after playing through the main story, you don't have to. You can enjoy the main story and that's it. And I think that's the difference. If it's a long game, but the main story, like Skyrim for example as well, is interesting and short, and you're not forced to do any of the side content, then I see no problem with that. Then that's all the other things are extra things you can do to extend your playtime. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you have to. And that's why this game in particular, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I think is one of the worst games ever design-wise. How the content is drip-fed to you. Because it's mind-boggling to think that someone saw this shit and thought, yeah, this kinda good. It's kinda good though. Because it's not. It's It's ass. In order to read the book you want to read, let's say you want to read Harry Potter. Potter? You want to read that? Before you can read chapter 1, you have to read the entirety of 50 Shades of Grey. And then you can read chapter 1. And then if you want to read chapter 2, you then gotta read the entirety of Twilight. And so on. And it continues. Does it sound like fun? Having to read shit books just so you can advance a chapter in the book you actually want to read. Just to be forced again to read a shit book first. You know? It's not fun. It's not fun. So yeah. Fuck Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Alright, let's continue. I don't have much time anymore. Unfortunately, I've been yapping on for way too long. So let's quickly breeze through this.
I played like 60 hours of Persona 3 FES on the PS3.
I want to play the game.
Stopped playing one day.
I haven't had the chance yet.
I've restarted Persona 5 like 3 times and quit every time. I don't know why. If I had to take a guess, it's just that the setting kinda drains me. Seeing the same city, the same school interiors, the same dialogue screen, it just wears on me after a while.
I get that.
And I fully acknowledge that I'm in personal opinion territory. I'm not gonna say any of those aspects are bad, just that they don't work for me.
Yeah, for me neither. I need a lot of
even if I were to somehow
different
get over that hump, that's still 100 plus hours to play through it. And it's not the only long game I have that I would like to play. There are literally dozens of games in my backlog that are probably over 60 hours long.
I think I have over 300 or 400 games in my backlog, so
and that's
I know that feeling.
Coming out. Metaphor ReFantasio just released, and that seems super cool. I could see this being my first Persona-esque game that I finish. But it's 60 plus hours.
It's too long.
I'm a side quest guy, so my playtime would definitely reach up towards 100 hours.
Yeah.
The new Yakuza game, the Persona 3 remake, the PC port of Shin Megami Tensei 5, Assassin's Creed Shadows on the horizon. I know I just went on and on about how bloated Valhalla is, but I'm kinda interested in Shadows if it's just like Valhalla, but in Japan. The world looks so much more interesting in that game.
That definitely, I think, is true. That's why many people wanted it.
That's probably
to take place in Japan.
The biggest game ever created. It's gonna have the biggest budget, sell the most copies, and be the game people focus on for that generation. An unfathomable amount of effort is being poured into that game to make sure it's the biggest project gaming has
I wonder how it's going to turn out.
And
I'm actually not so sure.
Do you know how many new games Rockstar made for the PlayStation 2? 21. And how many for the PS4?
Damn.
1.
Yeah.
They made one new game that whole generation.
And then again, is it worth it? Is it really worth it?
Don't feel the need to create these mega blockbusters where you have to
give us
every time.
Bite-sized fun stuff.
GTA 6 will be the biggest, most insane game ever created. But what about after that? What will GTA 7 look like? Or 8? You can't.
I guess we'll never see it. We'll never see it.
At some point.
If the trend of how long they develop games for
continues. Make smaller games and try out some weird shit. Then you have some interesting ideas for your next bigger game.
Yeah.
Though I guess indies can fill that experimental niche. Who am I to tell Rockstar to chill
Exactly.
out?
Yeah.
Literally nobody is doing what they're doing. Not even the big movie studios are making moves like Rockstar is. Avengers Endgame made $2.8 billion in the box office. That was definitely the biggest Marvel release up until that point, and perhaps the biggest we'll ever see. Star Wars The Force Awakens made $2 billion. Also probably the highest that franchise will ever see. Do you know how much money Rockstar made off of Grand Theft Auto 5?
A lot.
8.6. 8.6 billion. More than Endgame and The Force Awakens combined.
Damn.
I have no doubt in my mind that GTA 6 will surpass even that.
Yeah.
You know what? My bad, Rockstar. You do you. You keep making the biggest, most expensive
But then again, Rockstar Games definitely is an outlier.
Maybe just stop for a bit.
Exactly.
Making games for like 2 years. Let me catch up on my backlog.
Yeah. And also, you know...
Bye.
One quick thing, I don't have much time anymore, so I gotta get through this quick. Like for example, in the case of Portal, they made a short but sweet game and experimented with it and tried out something new. And then they made Portal 2 and they made it bigger and better. And I feel like game companies need to do that. They need to scale down. And if they got something, you know, if they caught lightning in a bottle or whatever the saying is, then they can expand upon it on a sequel that's bigger and better and longer and more intricate and whatever, right? Just give us more shorter but still high quality experiences. It does not have to be on the level of GTA. Nothing does have to be on the level of GTA. GTA does not even have to be on the level of GTA, because the older games just show how much fun just GTA in general is. And so I think Rockstar doesn't even need to put so much time and work into probably a lot of tiny details. It's cool that they do it. I mean, they definitely have the time, the manpower and the money, definitely. But other companies shouldn't look at that and think to themselves, yeah, we gotta do the same thing. Damn. No, it's not necessary. Make a short, interesting game, try out something new, and if it works, give it a big sequel. Alright, okay, that's enough yapping for now. I gotta end this video real quick. So before I end this video, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Pretzel. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him games these days are so long that my small penis feels left out. Hashtag swag. Tell him that. And obviously subscribe to him. He deserves it. He makes some really good content. I really enjoy his videos. Alright, I'm gonna write a quick and short and nice comment as well. Great video. If you still haven't played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, do yourself a favor and refuse to play it until the end of time. Trust me, I sat through it and it's 200 plus hours. I'll never be getting back. Sad smiley. Alright, let's comment that. Boom. There it is. Alright. Okay, so, and in my comment section down below, tell me what you want me to react to next. Maybe another video by Pretzel, maybe by someone else, about something else, for something else, you name it, I'll do it. Yeah. But try to make it specific, like for example, give me a video title or something like that, because if it's about a topic I'm unfamiliar with, I don't know what's good and what isn't, right? I don't know what to look out for, so help me out in that regard. Or I can pick out something myself, like I've been doing mostly on this channel so far, and I just pick something that sounds or looks interesting and pray for the best. And it works so far. Or I can do both. Just let me know which one you prefer, and I'm happy to oblige either way. Alright, this has been the Small Penis Man. Small Penis Man out. The irony, AceoX irony. I spent so long yapping and ranting about long games that I did the exact same thing Assassin's Creed Valhalla did. I'm wasting everyone's time just to get out my anger, reiterating the same point, filler content, damn. But it's me, so it's okay. Hell yeah, AceoX for the win. I always win, I never lose. Unless I do, but then I still win because I pretend I win. Yeah, yeah, bars, bars, yeah. Bye.